Out of the gates and ready to go. Welcome into this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we'll go over the latest news and rumors on your Seattle Seahawks as we have a lot of roster movement to get to. We'll break it all down for you coming up in just a bit. Also, we'll take a look at the updated playoff picture. How do things stack up for the Seahawks entering week number 15? We'll go over that. Also, we'll preview Sunday night's contest between the Seahawks and the Packers, and we'll do a Q&A mailbag as well. Get your questions in now using hashtag Seahawks or super chatting to get on today's show. As you guys file in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling. Colin Brown makes his triumphant return to the program today on the ones and twos. Colin, a diehard Seahawks fan, as always. Welcome back, my friend. What a time for our Hawks right now. 8-5, first place in the division. Vibes are good.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Teaser, it's been too long.
It has.
It has. Happy to be here.
Like the sweatshirt, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, listen, here, let's get a nice shot of this, baby.
Hey.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Came ready to rock today. But yeah, no, listen, the Seahawks, they're thriving, man. Number one in the NFC West. Again, a lot of people, including like me and you, when we made I remember we went live before the season started, we weren't as high on them as potentially winning the division. We thought they could be competitive, but, I mean, we were unsure. Again, first-year head coach, there's a lot of unknown with this team. And through it all, through the ups, the downs, and everything, they find themselves going into week 15, I should say, the number one seed in the NFC West. I can't be happier, man.
Oh, unreal. Number 3 in the NFC right now as well in that playoff picture. And to think, too, Colin, you look at where Seattle is at 8-5. Last 2 seasons, they've gone 9-8. Realistically, I think you just need to go 2-2, and you're going to be in the tournament. Whether it's winning the division or the wild card, just go 500 in this 4-week stretch, and I think you're in great shape one way or the other.
Yeah, do you want to actually look at the NFC playoff picture? Just throw it up real quick.
Yeah, as you guys are shouting out your city, as I see James in Tacoma, I got Matt in Toledo, Daniel in Kent, I got Grimaldo in Portland, Mark in Northeast Pennsylvania, Ty Man the Buckeye in Ohio, Teddy in South Carolina, Nathan in Montana, Dwyer in Edmonds, Washington, got Brent in Kirkland, Washington, got Fleet in Olympia, Jose in Guatemala, Richard in London, just to name a few of everybody that's checking in. Here is what the NFC playoff picture looks like at the moment. The Lions, the number 1 overall seed, they've already clinched a spot in the playoffs, as well as the Eagles. Seattle sitting at 8-5. They hold the number 3 spot with the Bucks at the number 4 hole at 7-6. Vikings at 11-2. Packers at 9-4. And then the Commanders at 8-5. And this game, we're talking about the wild card situation as well. This would, I think, you win this one, then you're looking at basically about 3 positions you could be in the playoffs. I think there's enough of a gap, Colin, where if Seattle wins the division, they'll be the 3 over the 4. Especially, if somehow the Falcons come back, they have the tiebreaker with the Falcons on that end. But if they're a wild card, they would probably be the 6 or 7 seed. I don't think they're going to catch up to Minnesota, though they do play them to be that 5 seed potential. I think that's what you're looking at more than likely. Yeah,
I think so too. And I mean, look, this game is pivotal, without a question. And God, I hate the cheeseheads. Like, I really want Seattle to win this one. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, you set yourself up for success if you win this one. Obviously, you got a huge NFC North slate to end the season for Seattle. With the you've got the Bears coming up here on a Thursday night. You also have the Vikings, or so it goes Packers, Vikings, Bears, before finishing off with the Rams. And listen, the NFC North, you could argue, is one of, if not the best division in football. So it's not an easy stretch.
And the easiest of those 3 games upcoming, the Chicago Bears. You covered the Bears quite a bit here at Chat Sports.
Yep.
Even though they fired their head coach, they still have a ton to play for because that coaching staff is trying to prove themselves of potentially keeping their jobs or auditioning for other teams. Yep. And those players, the same can be said there, whether it's coming back to Chicago or trying to get paid by other teams this offseason here. If you're Chicago, you would think, in theory, tank mode, but not really.
Yeah, I mean, they're still fighting. They obviously want to win. They've got a lot of young guys on the roster. Obviously, they fired their head coach. They fired their OC. Whole new turnover and everything. The thing with Chicago is if that last game against the Niners, the dreadful Niners, God, I was pulling for Chicago in that game. They just came out so flat. And it just didn't leave you with a lot of confidence going forward for the Bears team.
And that game's a short week for Seattle, too. That's a Thursday night.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's interesting as we get an Amber Alert here, at least I do.
Oh, yes. I got an Amber Alert, too. Some kid in Houston got abducted. Will the Seahawks make the playoffs? I'm feeling pretty confident. I think they're going to be in. I'm going yes. In fact, I think they're going to win the division, too. I really do think so. And in a perfect world, Colin, before we get to our ad reads, I would say this. I know a lot of people are talking about Week 18, that Week 18 could decide the division. My hope is that the Rams potentially drop enough and the Seahawks keep momentum going where Week 18 doesn't even matter. That would be perfect.
That would be ideal. I don't know how likely it is. I mean, we'll obviously kind of get into the numbers here later in the show, but it is a possibility, and honestly, that would be the ideal. That's what Seahawks fans should be obviously hoping for, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see how the games fall, as you will.
How the cookie crumbles.
Exactly.
Will the Seahawks make the playoffs? Teddy says yes. What else do you guys think? Why for yes and for no? Weigh in. Let us know what you think. All right, let's play some bills around here. Let's start with Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less. Whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, go to PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. They'll give you $50 to spend for free when you play $5. You don't even have to win to get the money. This week on Prize Picks, I think they're kind of underestimating our guy Tyler Lockett a little bit here. I know Lockett hasn't had the season he hoped for, but prime time, big lights, big stage, I think Lockett's going to deliver. I'll go with the more on 22.5 receiving yards. Also going with Josh Jacobs to have less than 73.5 rushing yards. The Seahawks' run defense has done a really good job the last few weeks with the addition of Ernest Jones. You can play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Today's show is also sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got you covered, folks. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's going to be one you don't want to pass up on. They have their seat views and get the visual, see what your seat is like. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Game Time, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks today. All right, so we asked you guys if you think the Seahawks will make the playoffs, and Space says probably not this season. Where's the optimism, Space? Come on. I think it's a playoff team.
I mean, the fact that he's saying probably not. I mean, they're leading the division with the final month ahead. So please give us some reasoning.
Give us some reason, Space. Why are these Seahawks not going to make the playoffs this year? What would be your reasoning on that? Weigh in, let us know. We did get some news officially within the last couple of minutes. Bill Belichick going to North Carolina. I knew that Belichick would be coaching next year. I had a pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
But up until a couple days ago, I did not think it was going to be coaching college football, let alone at North Carolina. What was your reaction, Colin?
Yeah, I mean, we know about Bill Belichick, if nothing else. He is a historian. He loves the NFL. He loves the history of it. Him talking football with Ed Reed, Chris Collinsworth on NFL Network, some of the best TV if you haven't seen it already, along with some other NFL greats. And you know how he values the one record that he currently does not possess, which is the all-time wins record with Don Shula.
Yeah.
Now, again, it doesn't mean that he'll never get there. I mean, there's never say never. But, I mean, now with him going to North Carolina, that dream is fading. And that is very bleak in terms of him ever potentially going back to the NFL and breaking that record. But apparently he's got some, ties to North Carolina that you let me know before the show. That I was not aware of.
His father was an assistant coach. He grew up around that program, so it's a bit of a homecoming. I think based on what we've learned recently with Bill Belichick, he should have no problems recruiting.
No.
That age group.
No.
With NIL and the transfer portal and all that, it's what I also find fascinating too is that college coaches have been running away from the sport, taking the first thing they can to get into the NFL, even going from head coaches to coordinators. Mm-hmm. The fact that Bill Belichick is not even waiting for the NFL jobs, but saying, I want to take on college football in this day and age, that's what's crazy to me. At his age, too, 73 years old, wanted to coach college football.
It's insane. I mean, congrats to North Carolina. I mean, they're going from Mac Brown to him, and I wish them all the best in the ACC, which, again, if you build up the right program, and Bill Belichick, his roster construction's well noted throughout his time in New England, and look, maybe it died down a little bit the last couple of years. It's very interesting in terms of, obviously, how he's going to build a team. I'm assuming he's going to bring Josh McDaniels in as probably his OC. Yeah, I imagine he'd bring in Steve Belichick, the defensive coordinator.
I would think Matt Patricia's going to be involved.
Something, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of ties there.
How do you guys think Belichick does at North Carolina? Is that a good fit? Weigh in. Let us know in the chat what you think about the idea of Belichick going to UNC, going to the Tar Heels, a basketball school, too.
Yeah. At
that. But North Carolina going all in college football as they're trying to get out of the ACC, get to the Big Ten or the SEC, certainly makes a statement hiring a guy like Belichick there. If you would like a shout-out from Colin here, spam us in the chat. All right, got about 100 people watching so far. I would love to hear from everybody, wherever you may be, however you may be watching today's show. Get the S's in the chat. Let's see how many we can get over this next minute. Who's going to be the early favorite to be MVP at today's show? Spam S. Colin will shout him out. And let's get this party started here on this Wednesday afternoon. Go ahead and start spamming S right now. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Here we go. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports, the first one as always. And let's get these S's going, man. I got Teddy P. I got Nathan. I got Santino. I got Jaime. I got Daniel. I got Robert. Mauricio, Daniel, get those S's going, man. Let's go. Let's get the chat rate up. We got Robert, Jaime, Mauricio, Richard, Daniel, Robert, James, Teddy, JD, James, Daniel, Mauricio. A lot of the same names. Again, if you're in here, we got 101 of y'all watching.
Let's get some new names.
Let's get some new names in here. Let's go. Let's go, man. JD, Robert, Teddy, Jaime, JD, Daniel. Shout out to you guys being the real ones. These 12s rocking with us on a Wednesday. We got Mauricio, Randy, Kevin, Daniel, Robert, Daniel, Jaime, Mauricio, Daniel. Again, we're seeing some early MVPs in terms of the real ones.
Yeah. We got about 10 seconds left. Keep going. Finish
we
strong.
Got Space. We got Robert. We got your boy Caesar, Mauricio. We got Santino, Daniel, Randy, Robert, Teddy, Ike. Shout out to Ike, Daniel, Space, Robert, Mauricio, Benjamin, Teddy, Daniel, Benjamin, Aiden, your boy.
There we go.
Let's go.
Nice work,
man.
Nice work. And that'll wake up the algorithm, get more people to join us and be a part of our live show that we'll get started here in just a few moments. I'm at 30 likes right now. Let's get to 40, and then we can start today's show. I'll open up a cold Miller when we get to 40 likes, and we can get this thing started. But need you guys to do your part, like the show, and we'll get things started here in just a few moments. When you like the video, let us know in the chat. Type me. We'll shout you guys out. Changing up the Super Chat menu a little bit today, by the way. First-time Super Chatters get the Seahawks chant. It is the holiday season, and so we're going to introduce something new today. We got a naughty or nice wheel. Mm-hmm. And for a $5 Super Chat, we will tell you whether you are naughty or nice. Yep. Simple as that. So if you would like to find out if you're on the naughty list or the nice list, I know I got to be on the naughty list. I mean, just based on some of the stuff I say on this show, I know where I'm at. Where are you at? Are you on the nice list or the naughty list? Find out. $5 Super Chat, and we'll spin the wheel. $10, take some shots. $20, do a beer bong. $50, get sauce with the Seahawks sauce. If we reach 300, then we will do a boot. You guys know how that works. Feel free to contribute, and let's have ourselves a day. I know it's a Wednesday. A lot of you are still working, maybe at the office, whatever. That doesn't mean we can't have a good time, enjoy ourselves talking Seahawks football today. Whoever sends in the first Super Chat, I don't care if it's $1, if it's $100, we are going to go crazy and show you some love for that very first Super Chat. It's always a special feeling when you're the first one.
Yep.
When you're the first one to send that in and be the tone setter on today's show. I would love to see who's going to send that, and let's find out who's on the naughty or nice list. Send in a $5 super chat, and we can make that happen.
Yeah.
$sign next to the chat box there.
I'll do one better. If the first super chat, I don't have a beer with me. I'm actually drinking a Coke Zero right now. First super chat, I'm going to go run because we just made a run to the grocery store. I'll do a little beers cheers with, say, a happy dad. Why not?
Yeah.
Get the party started.
Get the party started. So there we go. AB.
AB.
With the first one. Is that the AB?
Maybe. You never know with AB.
And it's a first-time super chatter, so that means we got to give the Seahawks chant for AB.
Do.
AB wants to party. AB wants to have a good time. Here we go. And Jaime wants to spin the wheel, so we'll go to Jaime here in just a moment.
I'm about to say, yeah.
AB, a first-time super chatter. Colin for AB.
Seahawks.
Spam AB. Spam AB in the chat. Welcome to the show, AB. Thanks for contributing and getting us that super chat. Welcome in. Hope to hear from you more often here on today's show. Glad to have you here with us. All right, man. A lot of super chats already rolling in. One by one. I love it. Let's go through these. Jaime wants to spin the wheel. We'll pull up the wheel and
we'll do these. Here, we'll do them at the end because I got to pull up the wheel, but we'll run through the super chats. We'll pull them up.
Okay,
Jaime, you are first one.
Let's make a list here. Check it twice.
Yep.
Got to find out who's naughty or nice.
Oh, yeah.
So we got Jaime, Aiden, and Nitsu is who we'll find out is going to be on the naughty or nice list in a moment. Space with a $2 super chat. Space, good to see you. Thanks for supporting the show. And feel free to add a comment to your super chats in the future. We would love to see whatever message you have on screen for us, and we appreciate you sending that in, Space. Aiden wants to find out if he is naughty or nice. We'll get to that here in just a few moments.
Space sent two. He sent two super chats. We appreciate them both. No messages on either one.
Yeah. Space, thanks for sending those in, though. Much
appreciate
appreciated. Nitsu wants to know, am I naughty or nice? And
we'll get him going.
Also sent in a $20 super chat for a beer bong. So I'll get some beer bong going here. A little beer bong action, courtesy of Nitsu.
Yeah, so we'll get that going. And then Chieferton.
And then Chieferton says, watching the show from my trash truck, keep it up. Man, that sounds like a good time. Hopefully we're keeping things clean on Seahawks today. But Chieferton, thanks for sending in the $2 super chat. Thanks for supporting the show. So, Nitsu, this is for you, our first beer bong of the day. Cheers. Go Hawks. Shout out.
Oh, I got the next one. I don't want Tyler just to be drinking by himself all day. And
I
do owe a beer's cheers.
Yeah. So, without further ado, we'll spin the wheel. So we got first up Jaime, then Aiden, then Nitsu to find out if they're naughty or nice.
Yeah, just making sure.
$5 super chats today. You get to find out if you're naughty or nice, and the wheel determines this. This is not up to Colin or I.
Nope.
There's no bias here.
Nope. This is completely at random.
Yes.
Which again.
So it is not our decision here. Just so we're clear. So don't get mad at us if you don't get the outcome you were looking for one way or the other. Let's see. So here we go. Naughty or nice? Let's find out. Let's start. Our first one is Jaime. Jaime, you are?
Let's see.
Nice. All right. Jaime is nice. Jaime, is that the result you were looking for? Did you want to be naughty or did you want to be nice? Jaime, congrats on making the nice list. Let's find out where Aiden lands. Aiden, are you naughty or nice? What's it going to be?
Hoping for you, Aiden. Oh.
And Aiden is naughty.
Ooh.
All right. So we got one on the nice list, one on the naughty list. All right.
And now we just need to see if Nitsu.
All right, Nitsu, let's find out where you're at. Nitsu is naughty.
Two naughties.
So two on the naughty list, one on the nice list this holiday season. We'll keep track of that the rest of the show and see who all ends up on the nice list, who all ends up on the naughty list. $5 super chat. We'll spin the wheel and we'll tell you where you end up there. If you didn't get the result you wanted, you could try again and see if you end up on the opposite list.
Space and
Space and $1. That puts him at 5. I think we got to spin it for Space.
Yeah,
then.
we'll spin it for Space. Here. Let me get that back up there.
Yeah. Here we go. For space.
For space. Let me make sure. Yep. Cool.
Space. You are on.
There we go. That makes $5. Ooh.
The naughty list. So we got 3 on the naughty list, 1 on the nice list. Space, is that what you were hoping for? Were you thinking you were on the naughty list, or were you hoping to be on the nice list? It's 3 on the naughty list, 1 on the nice list. $5 super chat, and we will spin the wheel and see where you end up. All right. Without further ado, let's get started with today's show. News and rumors up next. Playoff picture, Seahawks Packers preview, and then a Q&A rumors mailbag to wrap up today's show. Let's go ahead and get started with our first segment. Make sure to submit your questions for our mailbag we'll be doing later. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Let's get started. Segment 1, news and rumors. Roster moves for your Seattle Seahawks starts right now. You're watching Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we got a plethora of roster moves to get to. We'll catch you up to speed with everything you need to know when it comes to players that have been signed, claimed, released, activated from the injury list, and more. Coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, our channel is getting so close to 61,000 subscribers, less than 500 away from reaching that next milestone. For daily Seahawks coverage, whether it's our news and rumors, our watch parties on game days, live shows on Wednesdays, breaking news, Q-Day mailbags, you got to subscribe to the channel. The run to the playoffs is on. No one else is going to be covering your Seattle Seahawks like we will here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. To subscribe now for free. Let's break down the latest roster updates for Seattle heading into Week 15 against the Green Bay Packers. And what we're going to do, we're going to kind of catch you up on everything over this last week. In case you missed something, we want to make sure that you're up to date with everything that's gone on. We're going to focus on a couple of them that have happened more recently on the show, but I do want to kind of go back a little ways just to make sure everybody knows what's up. Let's start back on December 5th when Uchenna Nwosu was activated, and we did see him play against the Arizona Cardinals this week, playing in a total of 21 snaps. I would expect that number to go up. D. Williams was released after struggling against the New York Jets. He and Schneider were both ultimately let go in the same week. Meanwhile, Jalen Darden was claimed off waivers that same day at the wide receiver position. Jason Peters at the offensive tackle spot was placed on injured reserve. It seems unlikely that we will see him for the remainder of the season. And then George Holani, who got activated for last Sunday's game, he has gone back to the practice squad, but we could potentially, depending on Kenneth Walker's status this week, see him get elevated right back to the active roster again. Then we go to punter Ty Zentner, who was released from the practice squad. He was brought in with the injury to Michael Dixon, but Dixon obviously played. He's fine, so they didn't necessarily need to keep Zentner around. And then the most recent updates. Here's what's gone on today. Artie Burns at the corner position has been designated to return, as has safety Kayvon Wallace. And then with that, Britton Brown rounds out the roster updates as he was signed to the practice squad at the running back position. So, all in all, what does this mean for the 12s? With the run to the playoffs officially upon us, we got 4 weeks left in the regular season. Typically what you see with teams this time of year, it's a battle for attrition. Teams just trying to survive. In the Seahawks case, they are actually getting healthier down the stretch, which is very unusual to be talking about this time of year for most teams. You get Nwosu back last week, you get Artie Burns, you get Kayvon Wallace back. That defense, adding 3 players in a week stretch, that's a very, very good sign. Let's start with Artie Burns. Artie Burns, the former first-round pick out of the University of Miami, previously played with the Steelers and the Bears. A lot of experience, 87 career games played with 39 starts in the National Football League. And he's been here for a little while now. Although we haven't necessarily seen a ton of Artie Burns on the football field since he's been with the Seahawks, obviously Seattle has enjoyed having him around. At this rate, for all the changes the Seahawks have been through, there's something they like about Artie Burns. He's got to at least be a good locker room guy of sorts for them to stay as connected as they've had to keep him around. And even if he doesn't play, just having him back from injury should be a nice asset to have in the locker room, especially working with some of these younger guys in that corner room for the Seahawks. Meanwhile, Kayvon Wallace at the safety position makes his return. The former fourth-round pick out of Clemson, previously with the Eagles, Cardinals, and Titans. Played in 71 career games, played with 19 starts. He was signed this offseason by Seattle as a backup piece to Rayshon Jenkins and Julian Love. Obviously, Rayshon Jenkins has been passed up for Kobe Bryant, but now you have some depth at this safety position with bringing back Wallace, with Jenkins getting healthy now, and we've seen Julian Love play at a Pro Bowl level again this year. Kobe Bryant's play has really stepped up in the last few weeks. I really like what's going on with this safety position. Just a few weeks ago, the conversation we were having about this safety room in Seattle was a bit concerning with as many players that were banged up. They were at one point down to 3 healthy safeties. Now they have some good options here to potentially work with and give them some flexibility. What is your one-word reaction to the Seahawks roster moves? What is it? I'll give you my one word coming up in a moment, but I want to hear from you guys first. Way in the comment section, let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got you covered, including tickets to see your Seattle Seahawks in action, whether it's a Seahawks game, maybe it's a Kraken game, all sorts of events going on around Seattle and the great state of Washington. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's a deal you don't want to pass up on. They have their seat views where you get the visual, see what that seat is like. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. My one word is health. That is a huge factor of what we're talking about here is this Seahawks team getting healthy at this point in the season. They're already on a 4-game winning streak. They're playing their best football of the year with the way things have gone over the last few weeks. It's a huge step in the right direction for what this team is doing right now. And when you see these other teams, like I was going through the injury report today for the Green Bay Packers, and you'll see that in our game preview coming up later in the week. The Packers are pretty banged up right now, and that's a team you had to compete with. You go on down the line, like a lot of teams are just really banged up right now and just trying to fight for survival at this point. That's not the case with Seattle, and they took their bumps along the way. The injury report, if I go back a month ago, was pretty lengthy, and we were saying to ourselves, what is this team going to do? They can't catch a break. Now, as we enter this home stretch, this team is catching the breaks they're looking for. Let's look at the corner room with Artie Burns joining that group. He'll slide in. Trey Brown's a little bit banged up right now, but Josh Jobe, Mike Macdonald's liked what he's seen from him as he was elevated from the practice squad several weeks ago and has made his presence known. He had a good game against the Bills, right, his first career interception. Rick Wollins had a nice bounce-back season. Devon Witherspoon's been solid this year. I don't know how much we'll actually see Artie on the field, but we mentioned earlier all that experience he has. If his name is called, he'll be ready to step up and contribute to this Seahawks team if they potentially need him. The last time we really saw him a significant amount was back in 2023. He did play in 14 games for Seattle. Before that, you had to go back to 2021 when he played in 11 total games. And not any earth-shattering statistics by any stretch, but a lot of experience that he brings to the table. Meanwhile, the safety group for Seattle, let's talk about that for a moment here. And you look at this situation for the Seahawks with what they're going to do with getting Kayvon Wallace back. Bryant and Love have been a very nice 1-2 punch. Jenkins, he's only been back for a couple of weeks. He made some nice plays against Arizona here. I think with the emergence of Kobe Bryant, one of the things you're going to see is what we've talked a lot about with this Seahawks team previously, which is the flexibility to do different things. One of the things that Mike Macdonald excelled at when he was with the Baltimore Ravens was getting creative in the safety room with the 3 high safety looks, with what he was able to do with Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton and Geno Stone, and they had the best safety room in football. Now that Kobe Bryant is playing at a high level, and you have 2 other starter quality guys in Rayshawn Jenkins and Julian Love, and then Kayvon Wallace there, now that those guys are there and they're healthy, they can start to get creative. And we heard Mike Macdonald say earlier this week that one of the things that he wants to do with this defense, and guys like Kayvon Wallace that could potentially contribute in this sense, is that they want to get ahead of the opposing offenses that they face. When it comes schematically, they want to put themselves in a position where the offense doesn't see what they're doing coming, that they are in a position where the offense isn't prepared for what they're going to do next. So now just having more bodies involved, like a Kayvon Wallace, opens up the arsenal a bit where you can get a little more creative in the potential packages you could come up with for that safety group. Who's going to have a bigger impact for Seattle down the stretch? Will it be the return of Artie Burns, or will it be the return of Kayvon Wallace? Type AB for Artie Burns, KW for Kayvon Wallace. Weigh in the comment section and let us know. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today for the latest happenings on your favorite team all season and all year long. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. To subscribe now for free. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right. Let's go to a $5 super chat from Rich, and that will be a spin on the naughty or nice wheel. Every $5 super chat today is a spin on the wheel. He says, do you see the Hawks going corner first round next draft? Benjamin Morrison, perhaps? Colin, I think everybody is thinking, as of right now anyway, this has got to be the year that John Schneider accepts defeat and drafts a guard in the first round now.
A guard. I mean, there's no center, but I mean, the Connor Williams experiment and everything. They have to address the trenches. I love corner. I love Reek Woolen. I love Devon Witherspoon. That area, along with, Trey Brown eventually when he gets healthy. I mean, the secondary is not really much my concerns. Now, can they address it maybe day 2? Perhaps day 3? Sure. But, and even then, Nehemiah Pritchard, from what I've seen, it's not been bad in spots. Like, I don't think first round corner is where the Seahawks are going to go, in my opinion.
No, and I still think that there's the possibility. I think eventually they want to move Witherspoon to an outside corner spot.
Yeah, they love him in nickel. They really do.
They do, but I think eventually, kind of like Trent McDuffie in Kansas City, where you have to make that move. And
maybe.
I don't see them spending a first-round pick on a nickel corner.
Right.
So we'll see. But, Rich, it's a very good question. Thanks for sending that in. We'll include that in the mailbag segment coming up later. Let's find out, is Rich nice or naughty? Every $5 super chat today, we find out where you land on the nice or naughty list. And Rich is naughty. So that's 4 on the naughty list. Only 1 on the nice list so far. Tell you what, folks. Whoever sends in the next $5 super chat, we'll find out where not only you land on the naughty or nice list, but where do I land?
There we go.
We'll make that happen for the next 5 that comes in. We'll spin the wheel for each of us with the next $5 super chat. Bigger impact, Artie or Kayvon? Colin, I said Kayvon, but, I mean, you could make a case that, knock on wood, Seattle's one injury away from needing Artie Burns, too.
It's very true. And again, a lot of this is circumstantial. Even if Seattle, has that one injury, knock on wood, I just don't know how much playing time Artie will get. Now, Can he fill in a pinch? Sure. But at the same time, I feel like Kayvon Wallace, even in a deeper safety room, is going to just see the field more. Again, if it comes down to it, yes, you could see Artie getting some playing time. I just see it's more likely that Wallace gets on the field.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Type AB for Artie Burns, KW for Kayvon Wallace. Let us know in the chat what it is. All right, Adam Bob is going to spin the wheel for me and himself, and we got to give him the chant because Adam Bob is a first-time super chatter for Adam Bob. Seahawks! Seahawks! Let's go, Adam Bob. Spam Adam Bob in the chat. Welcome to the show, Adam Bob. Thanks for dropping the bomb and joining us. Let's answer his question, then we'll spin the wheel. Do you think A.J. Barner is a better fit over Noah Fant? Adam, I'll say this. I don't think Noah's going to be here much longer. Maybe next year, but I'd be surprised if he's here beyond that. But I think A.J. Barner is going to be a number 2 tight end pretty much his whole career. I don't ever see A.J. Barner elevating to be a number 1 tight end. So the answer is no, but I'm not necessarily sold that Noah Fant's going to be here much longer either.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because with Ryan Grubb, look, he's had his ups and downs. I think overall he's a really good offensive coordinator. And again, will he get some head coaching, looks, interviews? Maybe. We'll see. But I think in his offense, A.J. Barner, for whatever reason, has his kind of brief moments. I just don't think, given A.J. Barner's skill set, he's ever going to develop, like you said, Tyler, into that true tight end 1. But again, Noah Fant seems to be a guy that I don't think Seattle has in their plans as of right now.
No. And Barner is more of a blocking tight end anyway.
Right.
I know they've used him a decent amount in the passing game, but that's not his specialty by any stretch. Mm-hmm. But it's a fair question. Adam, thanks for that. Let's spin the wheel for Adam first, and then let's find out where I end up.
Yeah.
Adam, you are on?
We got
the nice list. All right, so we got 2 of the nice list, 5 of the naughty list. Where will I end up? Let's find out right now.
There we go.
Big money.
Teaser.
I am on the nice list. No way. Me on the nice list? Santa's being generous this year if I'm on the nice list. So that's puts us at 3 on the nice list and 5 on the naughty list. Next one that comes in will be for yourself, and we'll find out where Colin lands.
There we go.
For the next $5 super chat that comes in, a little 2 for 1 there on that front. There's the super chat menu, $sign next to the chat box if you want to contribute. Up next, let's talk about the playoff path for Seattle. How do things stack up as we enter the home stretch of the season? We'll break that down for you coming up next. And then we'll do our game preview and we'll do our mailbag. Get those questions in, #Seahawks or Super Chat, to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Let's go ahead and get started. Segment 2, playoff path, begins right now. The run to the playoffs is on for your Seattle Seahawks as we are nearing the home stretch, week number 15 of the National Football League season, and a big game ahead for Seattle as they host the Green Bay Packers this week. How do things stack up for the Seahawks when it comes to the division race, the wild card? What do they need to do to get in? We'll break it all down. We'll go over some analytics for you as well as the schedule coming up in just a bit. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for stopping by. If you want the Seahawks to make the playoffs, like the video. Don't jinx it. If we get 500 likes on today's video, that guarantees that your Seattle Seahawks will be in the postseason. Hit that like button, and we'll get started with today's show. Things are getting very, very interesting for Seattle. If you recall, just a few weeks ago, we told you about the numbers from The Athletic that gave Seattle about an 11% chance to make the postseason. And this is a little tease for some numbers we'll show you in a bit. The numbers have dramatically changed. Let's start with how things stack up in the NFC right now. Detroit, the number 1 seed, they've already clinched a playoff spot at 12-1. Philadelphia, the number 2 spot at 11-2. And then there's our Hawks right there at number 3 at 8-5, above the Buccaneers, leading the NFC South race at 7-6. The wild card, the Vikings, in a great spot at 11-2. Among the other teams there, the Packers and the Commanders. Let's take a look at the NFC West standings now. And you have Seattle at 8-5, and there's the Rams at 7-6. The Cardinals and Niners are not completely out of it at 6-7, but certainly have their work cut out for them over the next few weeks. So, now the analytic numbers, what you've all been waiting for. The Athletics Playoff Predictor gives the Seahawks a 59% chance to make the playoffs. Way up from what it was a few weeks ago. You start winning, got a winning streak, things change. Imagine that. Chances to win the NFC West, Seattle right now at 55% at the moment. Their chances to earn a first-round bye, that number 1 seed, well, not impossible, highly unlikely at this point, less than 1% chance. And although the Seahawks keep winning, the Athletic is still not a believer in their chances to win a playoff game. Just a 2% chance to make the playoffs, win a divisional round game, win a wild card round game, and get to the divisional round. So, how do things stack up for the final 4 weeks of the regular season for Seattle? As of right now, the Athletic gives Seattle about a 46% chance to beat Green Bay this week. And then next week's game against the Minnesota Vikings is a pick'em, right at 50%, could go either way for that home game against Minnesota. Meanwhile, the Thursday night game against the Bears on a short week in Chicago, Seattle has about a 51% chance of winning that one. And then the game against the Rams to wrap up the regular season, the Seahawks have about a 48% chance. You can see it's all very close. These are pretty much coin flip games for these 4 games ahead for Seattle. The Seahawks are technically only favored in one of the final 4 games, with that Vikings game being a pick'em. Obviously, no one is the favorite, or you could look at it as co-favorites, whatever floats your boat. But you get the idea. Only outright favorite for one game down the stretch. Who is going to win the NFC West? Will it be the Hawks? Will it be the Cards, the Rams, or the Niners? Type C for Seattle, type AIR for Arizona, type LAR for Los Angeles, type SF for San Francisco. Get your predictions in now and let us know who you think will win the division. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. They will give you $50 to spend for free when you play $5. You don't even have to win to get the money, folks. It's that simple. Prize Picks this time of year is all about football, folks. We got playoff football in college about to heat up in a couple weeks. I am thrilled. Cannot wait for that. We also have the end of the pro football regular season upon us as well. I'm looking ahead to this Sunday. I got our guy Tyler Lockett. I think he's being kind of underestimated a bit. I know he hasn't played that great this season, but I think he can have at least 22.5 receiving yards. I'll go more on that. And with the way Seattle's run defense has played the last few weeks, give me the less on Josh Jacobs' 73.5 rushing yards. If I put $20 down and both those hit, that turns into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's PrizePicks.com/CLNS. The link, check it out. Prize Picks, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks today. All right, so let's compare Seattle to the rest of the division when it comes to their playoff chances. The Seahawks currently at 55%. We told you about that earlier. You compare that to the other teams. The Rams have the next highest odds at 31% to make the postseason. The Arizona Cardinals, after suffering 2 losses to Seattle in a 3-week stretch, their playoff odds are now down to 9%, while the San Francisco 49ers' chances are down to 5%. So with that said, I think we can comfortably say this is a 2-team race right now between the Seahawks and the Rams. It is more than likely, barring something crazy happening, and we've seen some crazy things happen before, that one of those 2 teams is going to be the one that wins the division when it's all said and done. Now, we showed you earlier that the Athletic basically has a coin flip game for Seattle for all 4 of their remaining games down the stretch. But even with that said, they're predicting that the Seahawks finish the season with a 10-7 record, which would be the best record they've had in quite some time. And it would also fulfill the prophecy for Mike Macdonald that was brought in to elevate this team after having back-to-back 9-8 seasons to take a huge step forward at 10-7. I could live with that. I'd be very pleased with a 10-7 campaign. Meanwhile, the Rams are projected to have a 9-8 record. So, do some simple math there. You can see that the Athletic is projecting that the Seahawks win the division with a 10-7 record. Just how good are the Seattle Seahawks? According to the Athletic's points expected figure, they say that the Seahawks offense is worth about 22.3 points per game. The defense is worth about 21.8 points per game. So that's about a 0.5 point differential compared to any team in the NFL on a neutral field. If they played all 32 teams, they're on average about a half point better than the opponents they face. You compare that to Los Angeles, and their numbers are a little bit better than Seattle's numbers are. Their offense is about a 24.3, which is about 2 points higher than Seattle. Their defense is a 22.3, which is about half a point lower than Seattle's number is. But their overall is better than Seattle's number at 2.0 when you compare the two. We will get to the remaining schedule for each of these teams in just a moment, but let's ask you first, when you compare the Seahawks and the Rams, who's the better team right now? Let me know, in your unbiased opinion, who is the better team? We saw them play a few weeks ago. We'll see them play again Week 18. Who's the better team? Is it Seattle or is it L.A.? Let me know. If you think Seattle's the better team, type Y for yes. If not, type N for no. Down the stretch, when you compare these two, without a doubt, the Hawks have a tougher path than the L.A. Rams do when it comes to a division title. But they have the one-game edge on Los Angeles. You look at what's ahead for Seattle. You take on the Green Bay Packers this week on Sunday Night Football. And I honestly think that Packers team is really, really good. I think they got a great shot to win the NFC when it's all said and done. And with this being the first Sunday night game for Seattle since 2021, with the Seahawks kind of flying under the radar, I said this earlier, I'll say it again, they feel like the best-kept secret in the NFL. This game is the coming-out party for the Seattle Seahawks on a national stage to show if they are legit or not. Are they really that team that we think they are? Here's a chance to really prove themselves on Sunday Night Football to see how they stack up against one of the best teams in the NFC that made a decent playoff run just a season ago and is one of the favorites here. And Seattle is not favored this week. They're a 2.5-point underdog, over-under at 45.5. What I'm curious of, too, is a lot of talk has been, hey, Lumen Field's not what it used to be. Fans kind of got taken over by Bills fans a few weeks ago on a national stage, Sunday Night Football. Are the 12s going to come out? Is it going to be a lively atmosphere? Is it going to feel like the Lumen Field of old? Is the Hawks' Nest going to be back? Is the energy going to be there? The excitement going to be there? Is that going to be the difference between a win and a loss? We'll find out on Sunday. You look at the rest of the schedule for Seattle. You take on the Vikings the following week. That'll be a tough game. Vikings with the second best record in the NFC right now. Sam Darnold has played out of his mind. Then a short week, you take on the Chicago Bears on Thursday Night Football. Not a given, even though the Bears are out of it. They fired their head coach. All those guys, the players, the coaches, they're auditioning for their futures for next year. They still have a lot to play for. And then, of course, you take on the Rams Week 18 on the road to finish off the regular season. Now, if you compare to the LA Rams, their toughest game to finish out the season, they already took care of business. They had their prove-it win last week against the Buffalo Bills, who are a legit Super Bowl contender, one of the best teams, not just in the AFC, but in the NFL. They went toe-to-toe with a very good Buffalo team and beat them in a shootout. They played a lot better against Buffalo than Seattle did a few weeks ago, that's for certain. And you look at their upcoming schedule, you get the Niners on a short week, you take them on in Thursday Night Football, and it's on the road, so anything could happen. The Niners certainly could pull this off, and they're not completely out of it yet, as we mentioned earlier. You take on the Jets, and the lowly Jets are not that great of a football team, but you still have Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, and others. Who knows what they could potentially do. Then you face the Cardinals, a team that we also mentioned, not completely out of the woods yet. We'll see where they're at when it comes to December 29th. And then, of course, that game against Seattle to wrap up the regular season. What will be Seattle's final record? I said this before. I'll say it again. I think the goal is to go 2-2 in this 4-game stretch. You go 2-2, you're likely winning the division, and you're in the postseason. You finish 10-7. I would gladly take a 10-7 finish to the year. What would you see the Seahawks season finishing up as? Let us know. If you enjoyed today's show, like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right. Another super chat from Ralph. That's a shot. That's also a spin on the naughty or nice wheel for himself as well as Cullen. He says, take a shot. Who should we draft at right guard in 2025? Very good question.
I like the Georgia guard. I believe his last name's Ratledge.
Tate Ratledge.
Tate Ratledge. He's definitely flown up draft boards.
Tyler Booker from Bama's another one.
Yep.
Dylan Fairchild as well,
Yep.
also from Georgia.
Yep.
Those would be kind of the top three. Tate Ratledge, he's got that big old mustache.
Yeah, he just looks
that looks like a tough lineman there.
Exactly.
Cheers to Ralph.
Which Seattle needs. So, without any further ado, Ralph.
Ralph, are you naughty or are you nice? Ralph is naughty. So that's 6 for the naughty list, 3 for the nice list.
It's even, I swear. I mean, look at that. There's 5 of each on there. I don't know what it is.
So, Ralph, I don't know if that's what you wanted, but congrats to you for ending up on the naughty list. Where will Colin end up? Chat, what do you think? Is Colin naughty or nice? Colin, you're nice. Of course, Colin was going to end up on the nice list.
There we go.
We knew that was going to happen. No one has ever complained about Colin Brown in this office. There was no way Colin was ended up on the naughty list. So that puts 4 on the nice list, 6 on the naughty list. If you want to know where you end up, send a $5 super chat. We'll spin the wheel. Predict the Seahawks' final record. Colin, what do you think it ends up being?
That's tough, man. I'll say they finish. I like the Athletics prediction. I think they'll go 10-7. Originally, before the year, I had them at 8-9. They've obviously already hit 8 wins. I think they'll split the last 2. I think they're going to get the win against Chicago. I don't think they're going to beat the Vikings, and they're going to win one of either the Packers or the Rams. So I think they'll split one of those one of those games.
I think 10-7 feels right.
Yeah.
I think, and, you know, I make this point all the time, Colin. Like, you have to take into account, it's not just about you. It's about respect to your opponent. And, like, yeah, of course I want the Seahawks to win every game.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I do. But the Packers are a good football team. The Vikings are a good football team.
They really are.
The Rams are a good football team. Bears, we'll see what they potentially do. But, like, it's the National Football League. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. That's just how it is. We have to be realistic of respect to the opponent of who you face.
Ooh, some Seahawks news.
Oh, tell me.
Kenneth Walker, calf, does not practice again Wednesday.
That was expected.
It was expected. It's just, again, not really any breaking news, but popped up. Thanks. Shout out to Underdog. But
not great.
No.
But Charbonnet looked fantastic last week.
He did.
I think we can beat Green Bay without him.
I hope so. Charbonnet is one of the better RB2s, arguably in the NFL. So
yeah, and he was listening to you all that were doubting him. Anybody see that tweet the other day?
Yeah.
He made that known, and I told y'all, don't write off Sharp. Sharp can get it done. Some of you didn't believe me, but he stepped up. Super Chat menu, if you want to take part in today's show, first tap Super Chat is get the Seahawks chant. $5, we'll spin the wheel, see where you end up on the naughty or nice list. $10, take some shots. $20, do a beer ball, and $50, get sauce with the Seahawks sauce. Got to get to $300 for a boot today. We're making progress, but we still got a ways to go. We're close to $60 right now. So if you guys want to party, have a good time today, $100 gets you a spot in the Emerald Club, our Seahawks Day Hall of Fame. We can induct you with a $100 Super Chat. $sign next to the chat box if you want to contribute there. All right, without further ado, game preview time. Let's give you our keys to victory. Let's go over the injury report, and let's give you a prediction for Sunday's game as well. Seahawks and Packers game preview starts right now. It's the biggest game of the season so far for your Seattle Seahawks as they take on the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, where we will preview this matchup. We'll give you our keys to victory, break down the injury report, and my prediction as well coming up at the end of today's show. The Packers slight favorites at 2.5. The over-under set at 45.5. Seattle coming in off of a 4-game winning streak. Can they make it 5 in a row? It has been a while since we've seen the Seahawks on the big stage of Sunday Night Football. Mike Tirico wasn't even calling Sunday Night Football the last time the Seahawks played on NBC's Sunday Night primetime slot. As the last Sunday Night Football game for Seattle, you got to go all the way back to October 17th against the Pittsburgh Steelers when Russell Wilson was still under center for Seattle. So it is a welcome return to prime time on Sunday night, because Sunday night is football night for Seattle. If you're ready for Seahawks game day, spam S in the comments section. I want to see no less than 300 S's in the chat. Look, a lot of people are doubting the 12s right now, saying, hey, the environment isn't what it used to be. Not the same old Lumen Field anymore. Let's let them hear it, that we're not going away quietly, that we're going to let our voices be heard loud and clear. Spam S in the comments section if you're ready for Seahawks game day, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with the injury report for Seattle. This is as of Wednesday's recording, where things stack up from our live show. Trey Brown with a hamstring, he's questionable. Kenneth Walker III did not practice on Wednesday. He is questionable with that calf injury. Meanwhile, for Green Bay, their injury report a little bit lengthier than Seattle's. That includes Romeo Doubs with a concussion. He is questionable. Corey Ballantyne with a knee injury. He is questionable. And Edgerrin Cooper with a hamstring injury. He is questionable. But that's not all. Jair Alexander with a PCL injury. He is questionable. Devon Witherspoon, the best name in football, with a concussion. He is questionable. And Javon Bullard with an ankle injury. He is questionable as well. So what's it going to take to defeat the Green Bay Packers? Let's start with our keys to victory, beginning with Zach Charbonnet. Charbonnet was fantastic last Sunday against Arizona with the best rushing performance we've seen from a Seahawks back all season long. He finished this past Sunday with 22 carries for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. But that wasn't all that he did, folks. He was very effective in the receiving game with 7 catches for 59 yards. With the question marks surrounding Kenneth Walker's status, even if K9 were to play, I want to see Zach Charbonnet have a big impact and play a significant role in this Seahawks offense. He is too good not to play a big role in this offense, folks. Averaging over 4 yards a carry, had that big 50-plus yard touchdown run against the Cardinals this past week. He's rushed for 7 touchdowns off of 400 yards this season. Let's see them use Zach Charbonnet. The guy steps up when his name is called upon. I hope he has a big day on Sunday for the Hawks. Who do you got? You going with Seattle or you going with Green Bay? Type C for Seattle. Type GB for Green Bay. Weigh in the comment section and get your predictions in, how you see this game playing out. I'll give you my prediction coming up later, but want to hear from you guys first. We will be live right here on Seahawks Today on Sunday night for Seahawks and Packers. Our coverage begins at 4:15 Pacific time. Kickoff at 5:20 right here on the channel. I'll be here. Big Tex will be here. We'll do an hour-long pregame show, react to the game in real time, have a few drinks on hand. Come party with us as we root the Hawks to victory right here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications. Join us Sunday night live here on Seahawks Today, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. JSN, he's got the hot hand, and he's got to stay hot, folks. You got to keep feeding the ball to Jaxon Smith-Njigba. He has been so good. He has taken over as Seattle's #1 wide receiver, and he's in his bag, as the kids would say. The last 6 games, JSN has accounted for 38 catches, 592 yards, close to 16 yards of reception and 4 touchdowns. He has been really good. Most of his statistics that we're about to show you for the season have all occurred in the last 6 games. Remember when DK Metcalf went down? The big question became who was going to answer the call? Who was going to step up in this Seattle receiving corps? And although it sucked losing DK, it was a blessing in disguise for what it did to elevate Jaxon Smith-Njigba and to put him in a position to step up and be that guy for Seattle. He is closing in on 1,000 yards receiving. He could potentially do that this Sunday against Green Bay. He's got 5 touchdowns on the year, 75 catches. He's been Geno's go-to target. He's been very, very good, and hopefully he keeps things up on Sunday night, as I would imagine Green Bay is going to put their full attention on JSN with how good he has been as of late. Next up on our keys to victory for Seattle is Jordan Love, the Green Bay Packers quarterback. He has been very good in a very specific time frame. You may have heard of the promotional sale from Toyota called Toyotathon. Well, get this, folks. Jordan Love has been a Toyotathon merchant. What we've seen from Jordan Love the last 2 seasons during the span of Toyotathon is a totally different quarterback than what we've seen from him the rest of the season. In the Toyotathon stretch, Jordan Love has a 9-3 record as the Packers starting quarterback, including a 3-1 record this season. And you look at what he's done in his last 4 games of Toyotathon, he's playing his best football of the year. 7 touchdowns, 1 pick, 43 rushing yards, a 67% completion percentage, averaging 226 passing yards per game. It's been a fun run throughout Toyotathon for Jordan Love. But the sale has got to stop today. We're closing the doors. We're ending Toyotathon. We cannot let this sale continue. If we want to make this a December to remember, and that's another car company, then we got to end Toyotathon right here, right now. Will this be the week that Jordan Love's Toyotathon comes to an end? Weigh in, let us know. Type Y for yes, N for no. Chime in the comments section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, including tickets to see your Seattle Seahawks in action, you can get your tickets with Game Time. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's a deal you don't want to pass up on. They have their seat views where you get the visual, see what that seat is like. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. With my last name, Jones, I can't help but hesitate to mention this guy anytime I get the chance. We got to keep on jonesing with Ernest Jones IV, who is the best thing to ever happen to the Seahawks defense this season with his trade deadline acquisition. After the Seahawks brought him in, this defense has completely changed, specifically what they've done in the run defense. More on that coming up later, by the way. In Jones's last 6 games, he's had a total of 63 tackles, 3 TFLs, 1 interception, including that pick last week against Arizona, as well as 1 pass breakup. He has been a difference maker for Seattle, and he's having a career year and been a natural fit for what Mike Macdonald wants to do for this Seahawks defense. I'm expecting him to keep it going, to have another big game. I want to see Ernest Jones keep up the momentum, keep on firing away, and have a big night on Sunday night against Green Bay. Last on our keys to victory is taking away Josh Jacobs. I've seen a lot of Josh Jacobs over the years. He and I are from the same hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And Josh Jacobs is a very good running back. He did very well in Las Vegas, goes to Green Bay, and he's had a huge impact on this Green Bay Packers offense. One of the reasons that this Packers offense has been so efficient, even when Jordan Love wasn't playing that great before Toyotathon, was the run game and what Josh Jacobs was doing. The Packers are a run-first football team, and this season, despite being another year older, putting on a new uniform, changed the scenery and everything, he still has been very good. He's had 3 100-yard rushing games this season. That's tied for the 6th most of any running back in the NFL. He's already rushed for over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4.4 yards per carry. The Seahawks run defense is going to see one of their toughest challenges yet going up against this guy. You got to do whatever you can to get Ernest Jones and company involved to slow down that run game and minimize Josh Jacobs' impact as much as possible. Before we bring you my prediction, let's ask you, who will be the Seahawks MVP against the Packers? No wrong answers here. Just weigh in, let us know who you think that is, who's going to step up and deliver on Sunday night. To recap our keys to victory for Seattle, more Zach Charbonnet. He was great last week. Keep it going. JSN has been phenomenal the last few weeks. Kings stay kings. He's got to stay hot. Jordan Love, he turns it up a notch when Toyotathon season rolls around. Let's end the sale on Toyotathon. Make it a December to remember. Keep on jonesing with Ernest Jones and stop that run game of Josh Jacobs, who's been very good. Got to limit his impact. If the Seahawks do those things, I think they're in great shape. I like Seattle. In fact, I like them pretty handily. I got them by a touchdown this week. I'm going with the Hawks 24-17. A monumental win for Seattle. A statement win for the rest of the National Football League that the Seattle Seahawks have arrived, that they're here to play and contend with the rest of the NFC. If you're ready for a Seahawks win, spam W in the comments section. Let them know. Show up, show out. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll see you on Sunday night for Seahawks and Packers right here on Seahawks Today. All right, let's catch up on some Super Chats here. Let's begin with Christian, who I owe another beer bong for. We finish 11-6. Colin, 11-6. I'd be feeling great. You were with us a lot in the Madden season. That was our final record in the Madden year.
Yeah. No, and I mean, it would be a hell of a stretch. I would imagine this would be a win against the Packers, win against the Rams, a win against the Bears. Or, hey, maybe they do steal one against the Vikings. But, yeah, 11-6 would be absolutely electric.
There you go, Christian. Cheers to you. Thanks for that super chat. Christian, we'll spin the wheel coming up in a moment, find out where you're at in the naughty or nice list. So far, 3 on the nice list, 6 on the naughty list. Dome with a $10 super chat. Not saying I want it to happen, but I wonder if Kenneth Walker could be a potential trade candidate in the offseason. Charbonnet and McIntosh would be solid in holding down the backfield, and they're cheaper. I'll say this. You're likely, when we get to the point of having to pay K9 or Charbonnet, you're not going to keep both of them. One of them will be eventually gone. But what I would counter to that, Doom, is that the trade value for running backs is not that great. I would think, Colin, that I'm not even saying who you keep in that situation, but I think you're best off letting both of them play out your contracts and letting them walk rather than settling for like a third or fourth round pick.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, you were able to find these guys both on day 2 and
run them into the ground and then figure it out.
I mean, it's kind of just the way of the running backs at this point. Now, could they maybe find a middle ground, find a Saquon Barkley type deal, find a Josh Jacobs type deal? Speaking of Josh Jacobs, I probably wouldn't pay that much for a running back, but I mean, you know, we'll see what the cap and everything looks like in a couple years. But yeah, no, I think honestly, worst case scenario, I'd say tag him, like especially K9. Like I'm cool, say you aren't comfortable paying him yet, give him the franchise tag. I think on any given day, he's a top 5 running back in football. Yeah, you've got plenty of time. I wouldn't trade Kenneth Walker.
Doom, I'll take a shot for you. Cheers.
Salud, brother.
Thank you, Doom. We'll include that in the mailbag. Dan the Man Miller with a $20 super chat. That's another beer bong. And we'll find out where Dan ends up on the naughty or nice list here in a moment. So far, 3 on the nice list, 6 on the naughty list. I know Walker is too good to straight up bench, but do you think Charbonnet has deserved to get more reps going forward? Absolutely. And I think one of the things, too, that I really like about this Ryan Grubb offense, Colin, is the way he uses the backs in the receiving game. If anything, I would do more 2 running back looks. Or even putting Sharp in the slot potentially.
Yeah, I mean, splitting him out wide, motioning him out of the backfield. I mean, he definitely showed his, hand skills, especially last week against Arizona. And to be honest, like, if you want K9 to, sustain and be a running back for this team long term, yeah, Sharpie should get, some more touches in the run game. And look, K9 is clearly, I think, the better running back. Salute to you, Jones. But yeah, I think, Sharpie getting more touches is not going to hurt the Seattle offense. And look, K9, he's had some lingering injury issues throughout his career. And to keep him the healthiest for a potential playoff run, that just makes the most sense. So, yeah.
By the way, I mentioned that Toyota-thon thing, folks. I do not drive a Toyota. I have nothing against Toyotas. But just knowing that there's that connection there, nobody buy a Toyota this week. Nobody drive a Toyota this week. Wait till Monday when we take care of business. We are not helping the cause of Toyota-thon.
Well,
just want to make that clear.
Well, then I can't move because I do have.
Oh, no. Colin drives a Toyota.
I'm a Camry.
Now you tell me this? You're a Camry guy?
I'm a Camry guy, yeah.
Well, it gets good mileage, so I can't blame you too much. Oh, man. Colin. Now he built that entire show for me, and now he proceeds to tell me he's a Camry guy. So if we lose and Jordan Love goes off, you got to be the fall guy then.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, that's what I get for not even. I'm not even going to be a producer on the show. It's just like, yeah, God, if Love has a good game, I'm going to feel terrible.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
all right. Anyone else in the chat drive a Toyota?
They're great cars.
Again, I have nothing against Toyota at all. But it's not a great look this week. No. Dan, thanks for that super chat. Jefferton, he spun the wheel earlier. I guess he gets another shot at it, see where he ends up this time. What was the biggest factor in the O-line success on Sunday, and do you think that they will continue to look that good down the stretch? Laken Tomlinson played great. Charles Cross was really solid. Lumea really stepped up too. He was much better than he was the week prior. So I think it's kind of those 3 things. Abraham Lucas actually did not play that well.
Yeah.
That was not his best showing, but that's what I would say is kind of those 3 individuals there of what happened. All right, so we got
4.
We got 4. We got
Christian, we got Doom, we got
Christian,
Dan, and
Doom, Dan, and Jefferton. Let's start with Christian. Christian, are you on the naughty or nice list? You are on the nice list.
Ooh, okay.
Christian, hopefully that's what you were looking for. That's 4 for the nice list, 6 for the naughty list. So the nice list starting to catch up, starting to even things out. Santa's starting to feel a little more generous. Let's go to Doom now. Where does Doom end up? Doom is on the naughty list. With a name like Doom, yeah, you were going to end up on the naughty list.
That's what you get for trying to trade K9.
Yeah, you trade K9, you get put on the naughty list. Dan the Man Miller, the werewolf man himself, where does he end up?
This is a man of reason. I would have hoped that he gets on the nice list. And he does.
He ends up on the nice list. So we got 5 on the nice list, 7 on the naughty list so far. And last one, Shefferton, spinning again. Another shot at it. What will it be this time for Shefferton? Shefferton ends up on the naughty list.
Interesting.
So we got 5 on the nice list, 8 on the naughty list. Every $5 super chat, you can find out where you end up on the naughty or nice list. And we're over $100. We got to get to 300 to get to a boot. So we're getting close with one more segment to go, but we got a ways to go potentially to get there. $ next to the chat box if you guys want to contribute and make that happen. Who do you got, Seattle or Green Bay? Get your predictions in. Colin, you heard my pick. I got the Hawks 24-17. What is your prediction, Colin?
I'm going to go Seattle 27, Green Bay 24.
Okay. So you got a 10-point win.
Well, 27 to 24.
27-24. Sorry, I thought you said 17 in my mind. So 3-point win. So I all that matters at the end of the day is a win, but
Yep.
I mean 27-24 would probably be a pretty exciting game.
Yeah, Green Bay, just F the cheeseheads, but I mean they're a really talented group. Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, that offense is rolling. Defensively, they are a little banged up as we highlighted in the previous segment, but they're going to make it tough. But I do like Seattle to just go on the road, keep this momentum going, and really solidify themselves as an NFC contender.
You guys do this on the Bears chat a lot. It's always FGB, right?
Always FGB. Always FGB.
FGB.
Outside of literally the Niners, the Rams, and the Cardinals, I hate the Packers as much as any NFL team.
I hate the Cowboys slightly more.
Okay. That's a good one, too.
Cowboys, honestly, Cowboys are probably number 1 for me.
Really? Okay.
I despise the Dallas Cowboys. And I know the Seahawks and Cowboys don't have significant history, but it's more so about who they are as a whole, not directly related to Seattle.
Yeah.
Spam FGB in the chat. Get those FGBs going. And here's the Super Chat menu. If you want to find out where you land on the naughty or nice list, send a $5 Super Chat. Shots are $10, beer bong for $20, Seahawks sauce for $50. Emerald Club or Seahawks Today Hall of Fame, $100 gets you inducted. And we're at about 113 right now. If we get to 300, we'll do a boat. So we'll see what we can make happen. Let's go ahead and get to our final segment, Mailbag time. Keep sending in your questions. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show, our final segment. And we'll get started with that right now here on Seahawks Today. Glad to have you with us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We got some very promising news to get to coming up in just a bit, as I got a little sneak peek at the questions this week, and I got to tell you, you're going to like what we have to say about your Seattle Seahawks and their situation as they head towards the home stretch of the 2024 campaign. We'll explain more coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, you may be wondering, mailbag, man, I would love to get a question in on a mailbag segment. Well, you are in luck, because if you subscribe and turn on notifications, you will be the first to know when we have new content here on the channel and when we go live. That way you can be a part of our next mailbag segment that we do every Wednesday. So subscribe now, turn on notifications, hit that noti bell icon, and never miss a thing. If you're part of the what we call the Noti Gang here on Seahawks Today, spam Noti Gang in the comment section. We'll get started with today's show. Dome with a $10 super chat writes in, not saying I want it to happen, but I wonder if Ken Walker could be a potential trade candidate in the offseason. Charbonnet and McIntosh would be solid in holding down the backfield, and they're cheaper. So, Doom, thanks for the super chat, first off. Let's break this down in a couple parts and pieces here. I have a couple of reasons why I want to trade K9. Number one, you're not going to get that much return on investment. Running backs just aren't getting much value on the trade market right now. It's not worth it to trade him. That's the first reason. The second reason that I would say is, have we learned anything from the health of these running backs? You go all the way back to Chris Carson, to Rashad Penny, and now with K9 and Zach Charbonnet. Seattle needs every quality running back they could get because these guys get banged up, especially with what we've seen the last few years with the bad offensive line here. What I would do, I understand, folks, about the ramifications of potentially the re-signing situation. In all likelihood, you're not going to be able to re-sign both K9 and Zach Charbonnet. I understand that. You're going to have to pick one or the other when you get to that point. But if I'm Seattle, I'm running both those guys into the ground and then figuring out, all right, what do we do next? Do we extend them? Do we replace them? Whatever it may be. But it's not worth the time to trade it. It's an interesting idea, Doom, but I would run these guys into the ground and then figure out what to do after that. But a very good question, Doom. Adam writes in, do you think A.J. Barner is a better fit over Noah Fant? So I look at this twofold here, Adam Baum, and thanks for the super chat. A.J. Barner, I'll say this. For me, he has been somebody that I have actually really liked. I have enjoyed what he's done this season, and he was scouted as mostly a blocking tight end when he came to Seattle. But Ryan Grubb's been able to use him a decent amount in the passing game, at least more so than any of us expected, that is. With that said, is he better than Noah Fant? No. But Noah Fant isn't a part of the long-term plans for this team either. I think that Noah Fant is either gone this offseason or next offseason, one of the two. So A.J. Barner, I expect to stick around, but to be the number 2 tight end. I don't think he'll ever be a number 1 tight end in this league. I think you're going to go draft somebody with a high pick in the next couple of years to be that Noah Fant replacement, to be that number 1 tight end. Seahawks for the win writes in, how would you evaluate how DK Metcalf has looked since returning from injury? What's funny is DK's played really good since coming back from injury. But it's been overshadowed by how good JSN has been. As JSN's been on a Pro Bowl level and looked like one of the best receivers in football the last few weeks. But one thing I would point to, Seahawks for the win, what's promising about DK, he has been a very good teammate right now. Because part of the reason for JSN's success of why he's looked so good is the double teams that DK is taking on. And defenses focusing in on DK, he's still getting his, but that's creating things for JSN to shine. And they're making each other better. So for me, I look at that, and you know DK's still going to go off and have some great moments. He very well could still reach 1,000 yards, even with the time he missed and everything this year. You got a good thing going. I think that these guys are both going to be around for a very long time, that you have your number 1 and number 2 receivers for the future here. It's a very good situation Seattle finds themselves with both JSN and DK, and they offer 2 completely different things for this offense. I'm excited. I think the future is bright for both of them here in Seattle for a very long time. Do you believe in DK Metcalf? I believe in him. I'm not trying to trade him like some of y'all are. I want him to be here a long time. I hope we pay him and that he stays with this Seahawks team for a while. Do you believe in DK? Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in, let us know. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey. Football, a big deal this time of year on Prize Picks, with the playoffs coming in college football here in a few days. You got the end of the NFL regular season upon us. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, and get this. They will give you $50 to spend for free when you play $5. You don't even have to win to get the money. Go to PrizePicks.com/CLNS. This week on PrizePicks, I'm going with our guy Tyler Lockett. I know we talked about JSN. We talked about DK Metcalf earlier. Only 22.5 receiving yards. That's all he's got to do to hit the more. I'll take that. Josh Jacobs, less than 73.5 rushing yards. I really like the way the Seahawks run defense has played the last few weeks. I think they can slow down Josh Jacobs just enough. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks today. Rain City Diehard writes in, do you expect the Seahawks to extend Ernest Jones IV? I do. And my hope, Rain City Diehard, is that they do this sooner than later. Because Ernest Jones is playing so dang well that with every passing week, his price tag goes up. And if you let him hit the open market, potentially, like they did Leonard Williams, then that could cost you even more money. Think about this. The Seahawks, wouldn't they have saved a lot of cash if they would have just taken care of Leonard Williams when they made that trade last year? How much money did they cost themselves by letting him hit the open market before they got a deal done? I'm worried about that with Ernest Jones. I want to do whatever it takes to keep him. He's a star, and he looks like one of the best inside linebackers in all of football. But what are we waiting for? Let's go ahead and jump on this and take care of this sooner than later. I want to see Ernest Jones with this Seahawks team for a long time. He's a perfect fit for Macdonald's defense. He does a really good job against the run. He's been very solid in coverage. Got his first interception of the season last week. He's got 4 pass breakups. Let's keep Jonesing, folks. Should the Seahawks extend Ernest Jones IV right now? Type Y for yes and for no. Way in the comments section. Let us know what you think. Daniel writes in, how many Seahawks are all-pro? Can Knight get into the Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation? How many are all-pro? Ooh, it's a good question. Not many. I don't think, in all honesty, probably none, if we're going to be frank with you. I don't think anybody's going to be an all-pro selection. In all reality, too, you know how hard it is to be an all-pro? There's only 22 players on offense and defense that end up as first-team All-Pros, and then another 22 as second-team All-Pros. I would be very surprised if somebody ends up as All-Pro at this point in time. It's not an indictment on Seattle. Their talent is just kind of spread out. They don't necessarily have that 1 or 2 elite players, but they have a lot of good players on this team, which is okay. That's fine. Tyrese Knight, I would say no, he's not going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year because compared to other defensive rookies, he just doesn't have the playing time that those guys do. Tyrese Knight has been a pleasant surprise. He's played better than I expected. He's much further along. The initial thought was when he came to Seattle this year that this would be kind of a redshirt year for him, that he'd be kind of learning the NFL way, but he's picked it up pretty fast. But no, he won't win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but he could potentially be on an all-rookie team when it's all said and done. Daniel, thanks for that question. Santiago writes in, doesn't look like the Packers have beaten anyone good. Are they as good as what their record is showing? I think they are. I think the Packers are a legit Super Bowl contender. Jordan Love, I think, has proved himself to be a very good quarterback in this league. They got an excellent run game with Josh Jacobs. Their defense has improved from what it was a season ago. Yeah, if you win this week, if you beat Green Bay this week, then you send a message to the rest of the National Football League. You make a statement with a promising showing as far as that goes. I think this would do wonders for Seattle. And think about this, Santiago. You say that they haven't beaten anyone good. Last time I checked, they played in the toughest division in football. So just to do what they've been doing, even though they're not leading that division, they're not even in second place in their division for crying out loud. Just to be up there with what they've gone through with that gauntlet, I'm impressed. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seahawks Today. Join us on Sunday night for Seahawks Packers. We'll see you then. All right. We got a first-time super chat from I Am Fetty Boy. Let's hear it for I Am Fetty Boy.
Seahawks
Hawks!
C!
Hawks!
C!
Hawks, let's go! Let's go, I am Fetty Boy. Spam I am in the chat. And we'll answer this question, then we'll spin the naughty or nice wheel. Lumea is my cousin. He's Samoan, so, bro. He's related to every Samoan Seahawks fan, LOL. Very cool. Funny enough, I am Fetty Boy. His mom followed me on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. So I would say, Colin, that the Lumea family, they must be big Seahawks Today fans.
I mean, they got to at least know about you, right? I mean, bare minimum.
Mom, cousin, everybody's.
Yeah.
I love it. We love the guy. I've enjoyed what he's done the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
He's been better than Anthony Bradford and Christian Haynes. Even when Bradford gets healthy, I expect him to keep his job at the way he's playing right now.
Yeah. No, I think he's definitely earned his playing time, like you said, and I think he definitely is just, whenever training camp rolls around, he'll be in the kind of the mix there with the Seattle Seahawks offensive line. And
he's been very good for being a 6th-round pick.
I mean, yeah, he's crushed it. He really has.
Yeah. I am Fetty Boy. Thanks for that. Thanks for the Lumea family for their support of Seahawks Today and super chatting us. Let's find out where I am Fetty Boy ends up on the naughty or nice list. And that is going to be nice.
Let's go.
All right, so we got 6 on the nice list. All right, I will put a minute on the clock. If we get a super chat of any amount, stay alive for a bit. If not, we'll sign off and call it a day. Super chat of any amount, we stay live. We're at 118 in super chats right now. Got to get to 300 for a boot. Every $5 super chat, you find out where you end up on the naughty or nice list. $20, do beer bongs. $10, we take shots. Last chance to get involved in today's show. And feel free to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Colin and I are big college football fans, too. I'm so excited about this playoff, Colin.
I am, too. First, obviously, iteration of it. We've got a loaded first-round slate, much less, the other teams, that have the first-round buys. And, I mean, seriously, Clemson, Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee, Penn State, and Drew Aller, after nearly knocking off Oregon, they take on SMU, the upstart team from the ACC.
SMU's look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean.
One thing I've said about this first round of games, too.
Yep.
I am so glad. You could call me a college football elitist if you want. But all 4 games are at powerhouse stadiums.
Yes.
No offense to like Indiana or Boise State, but I love that for the first time that we have playoff games on campus, we're going to places like DKR in Austin.
Yes.
Ohio Stadium in Columbus. Notre Dame Stadium. Happy Valley. Those are in December. It's going to be a little colder. Maybe we get some snow potentially. Those are going to be incredible atmospheres.
100%. I mean, Penn State hosting a playoff game. I mean, the committee could have asked for a better, I think, first venue. I mean, that place is known for getting rowdy. And then DKR, the history with, the people down there in Austin. Obviously, you mentioned Notre Dame. Like, there's going to be a lot of great football being played. Obviously, Columbus and Ohio. Does Ryan Day, have the yips again and potentially choke up?
I think Tennessee's going to win that. I think Ryan Day loses and he's fired.
They've got a lot of matchups that favor their way. I think they're better in the trenches than Ohio State, and that could honestly swing things for Tennessee if Nico plays his A game.
Yeah, the Ohio State offensive line does not look that good. I got to tell you, one guy to watch, and he's a name potentially for Seattle to look at in the draft. Outside chance. Remember the name, folks, James Pierce
Jr.
Jr., the edge rusher from Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
And his stats are a little deceiving. They weren't as good as maybe you would think of a player his caliber, but he was taking on so many double teams this year.
Yep.
If he somehow ended up with us, I would love it.
Yep.
I would love it. You can never have too many pass rushers.
Never.
I didn't see any more super chats come in, so we'll sign off and call it a day. Colin, glad to have you here, man. Fun show today.
Happy to be here.
Congrats on ending up on the nice list.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, we both were, so, I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Hey.
We're nice people around here.
Yeah, I'll just have to look at getting a new car.
Yeah. No Toyotas this week. Everybody stay away from your Toyota and Toyota-thon. We're not trying to help.
Down to the office every day.
Yeah, you're going to have to walk from Denton. Take a scooter or something. But you only have 2 more days left of the week, so you'll make it work. You'll figure it out. Back on Sunday, Tex is going to be here. Sunday Night Football. We'll have coverage on the channel throughout the next couple days as well. If anything happens, we'll bring you a breaking news video. I don't care if I'm hanging out in my apartment or whatever it may be. We'll make it happen one way or the other. Subscribe now, folks. Appreciate you being here. We will see you on Sunday for Seahawks and Packers right here on Seahawks Today. For Colin Brown, I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great night. So long, everybody.